We're talking the much anticipated Alien Earth. Been waiting on this for a while. They have two episodes drop. First one being Neverland, second one being Mr. October. I'm very excited for this series. So you want to jump right into it? Go ahead and like, sub, and let's get right into it.
If I'm not human, what am I?
Noah Hawley delivers us this Alien Earth show. Why was I excited for this? One, aliens have not really been on Earth outside of Alien versus Predator, but also two, it's good to see an expansion of the series. One of the beefs that I've had with the series is since really Aliens and Prometheus, they have not really worked to expand this series and give us more of what we haven't seen. This one goes into the spaceship flying to Earth, crash landing. So obviously we got new species, we got new synthetics that are coming out. So a lot of things going on here. So Noah Hawley drops us into this world, basically opens up with this race for immortality that they're talking about. So I'll read it here. So in the future, the race for immortality will come to three guises: cybernetically enhanced humans, cyborgs, or what they're called, artificially intelligent beings, synths, and synthetics being downloaded with human consciousness called hybrids. So we open up with Wendy basically as a sick child, played by Sydney Chandler. I don't know who plays the child actor, but she's basically a sick child, and she basically becomes the first hybrid, which is a human downloaded into a synthetic body. So they are human now. They enhance him a little bit because they are children, and he's mostly testing children. The person testing is the boy Cavalier. He owns the Prodigy company, and he's running this new experiment in the race for immortality. So a couple things going on here. One, this does something we haven't really seen. We know the Wayland Utani company. That's the one that's resonated in these series and in these movies. We really haven't explored really who their competition is. We've seen them pretty much dominate the market in space, especially when it comes to going out and get species and bringing them back for bioweapons or whatever they're using them for. In this show, we have a couple different ones here. So Prodigy is the company that we're kind of centered on. They're the ones doing synthetics and probably jumping into the game a little bit. But they talk about five companies that pretty much dominate the world. So it's not countries in this world that are split apart. It's really companies that have their own place, because this is what Prodigy City, and there's a Neverland, which is real Prodigy Island, where they do their testing, and they're testing out some different stuff. I feel like stuff's going to come on later in the series that they're doing here. But they also have another company called Dynamic, which we haven't seen yet. Wayland Utani definitely makes an appearance, but so we have it here. So Willie Utani, as usual, is out, collecting species. Something happens now. What it looks like is basically they don't show what happens on the thing, but it looks like the synthetic that they have, Morrow, played by Bobe Cisse. I hope I said that right. Feels like he just lets them loose. Why does he let them loose? Create xenomorphs, create these different kind of aliens that are running around for. But it seems like he tries to do that and he somehow loses control. And he's pretty ruthless. I mean, there's one of his crew members, and at the beginning, I love the look of it because it looks fresh like Alien. Now, this series in the timeline is the first thing that we have seen, probably besides Prometheus, which happened well before, but somehow looked in the future of the original series, which was a complaint, but it is what it is. So in Alien, you had that look of the ship. This one mirrors it perfectly. Like, this looks exactly like Alien. They got the look perfectly. It looks like you're on the same exact ship as it's coming back to Earth, and they're pretty much doing the same thing. So this will be a nice flashback for you if you're a big fan of that movie and the look of it, as it nails it here. And basically, Mara, who's the synthetic on that ship, seems like he lets them loose, and it kind of gets a little out of control. So basically, he's to the point where he can't, go back and steer the ship and complete his mission, which is get these specimens back safely. So the ship then comes back crashing into Earth. Now, while that's going on, the Prodigy company has developed pretty much of these hybrids. So there's a little crew in here. They're all pretty much kids in these super bodies, which I talked about a little bit with Scotty, where I said, hey man, we know we have these dangerous creatures in this universe, and the companies are well aware of it. Dude, when are you gonna make these, kind of synthetic robots who can go out and really fight them? When they do that with Morrow, which is really, really cool, a lot in the second episode and a little bit in the first, where you see him able to do things that we just haven't seen synthetics do, really. So could be advancing, obviously our technology and producing it and making it look realistic, but it looks cool, and it looks like, hey man, if he needs to go out and get, an alien creature, he can do that and get it back safely without, worrying about it tearing him apart. He's combat ready. So that's really cool. So when it comes back crashing to Earth, obviously I feels like they have domains that are kind of crossed out by which company owns them. Prodigy Prodigy is it crashed into their city. So the Prodigy owner, Boy Cavalier, who's basically his the thing he wants, which is pretty cool, is he's the smartest person pretty much on the planet. He's the Mister, Mister Fantastic, where he's a guy who's smart and he basically wants to have a being that can have an intelligent conversation with him and with other humans. He seems to can't do it. How smart is he? I guess we'll figure it out. The show can do right or wrong by that, but he wants to create these beings. So when he does create these hybrids, he is he's basically creating a being that can continue to learn, continue to grow, and really like somebody who can end up being smarter than him, and that's what he wants his achievement to be. So this the ship comes crashing back, and he feels like this is a good opportunity to kind of test these beings and see, what they can actually do, what they're capable of in action, how they can learn, how they can grow, and how this can press their minds. So definitely Wendy, who very much gives that Ripley feel of she's the one she now while she was a kid and got sick, she's the one that like feels like she's really adapting to what happens. Kind of like Ripley does in the first and second movie, where just thrown into chaos, but really is able to adapt and survive and kind of lead there. So, and which is really her idea to say, hey, like you have us, we're big, we're strong, we can't, break like humans. Send us out here to get what you need to get because she has a brother named Hermit, who played by Alex Author, who's on scene and she's been tracking him for a while as she doesn't know she's alive, but she knows him and then she knows he's her brother and then she's trying to protect him and make sure nothing happens to him. So she kind of comes up with the idea like, hey, like we're stronger, send us over there. And that's kind of where events kind of take place from here. So Neverland in the first episode, I think is pretty cool. I think what they're doing is, it's a little risky, but they're trying to do these experiments. When we go to the ship and we go once it crashes, I mean, it looks horrific, man. It's just like, the tension and the fear of kind of Alien really broke into sci-fi horror. Like this was one of the first movies of sci-fi horror, and it did a good job. I mean, even watching that movie, like the reason Alien really isn't in my top 5 movies, it's not very fun. It's a very tense, movie, and you're learning, you're adapting to this new world, but it is very uncomfortable. I think they do a great job with that. I mean, seeing this ship and seeing the way these and not even just the xenomorph we were used to. There's multiple of them that actually pretty cool to see some different ones, but they tear people apart and it looks rough. And I mean, when these I guess they're not really space marines, but regular marines go onto the ship and see the aftermath of what happens to all these people, it looks horrific. Like the danger level is rocketed up, and seeing them go through the ship knowing that there's a xenomorph running around as he was tearing people apart before the ship crashed and he's running around, you feel that level of tension and danger. So I think they do a really good job with that. I mean, that adds to the fun because it's like, well, who's going to catch it first? How's it going to happen? um so I think that was a cool part. But yeah, so they go in there and kind of that's where we take place at the end of episode 1 as they're searching for these different specimens and trying to see if there's any survivors. So, and then episode 2, we kind of go in. Our synthetics, our hybrids are on the way to the ship, and you have Morrow, who's the synthetic who is able to be in action. You kind of just see him as a character, like he is a danger, man. He is able to track this thing down, and he is able to detain it by itself. I mean, it was a little distracted. He probably doesn't want to run the ones with the xenomorph, but he is clever. He's smart. I mean, he's whaling you tiny robot, and we've seen this. Now, I'm very interested to see how similar he is going to be to the one in Predator Badlands. I mean, this is kind of one of the times where she's on a planet of straight dangerous aliens. So it's going to be really cool to see, how she adapts to that. But I feel like this kind of gives us the feel of what that's going to be like. And Morrow, who is a character who he's ruthless, man. He cares about the mission. They tell him, hey, protect it until, we can get there and collect these specimens. And he says, okay. So if you're a soldier, you're just a regular person. He don't care. Your specimen that's in his way, he will kill you, to make sure he completes his mission. So I think it was really cool kind of seeing it's a little bit of a bottle film. Now it does have some levity to it, and it is fun. I mean, we see a club of people who they just brought in some rich assholes to get torn apart, which you knew it was going to happen. There's a scene in this episode where they knock on the door and they say, hey, you got to get out of here. It's like, well, I own this club, and as soon as I get a call, I will evaluate, but until then, we're rich. And you just know, like, all right, man, the xenomorphs are going to go in there and tear them apart, which they well deserved. But I feel like a lot of things in this show is really exploring a world that we haven't seen yet, and that is kind of the best part of this. These other xeno or not these other, the other specimens that are out there, you kind of see what one can do. I mean, it operates in a dead cat for like a second, so and it's like has it running around and doing different things, and it can pop out, and it just looks like another eye, and then you see like all these tentacles. You have one thing in kind of a corridor where it's just like leaking spit and it has a little tentacle that comes out, but you don't quite know what it does yet. So, I mean, the fear and danger, because like, the Prodigy company, they're like, hey, like we got to contain these things because if they get out here and they start to, spread and adapt to Earth, it's cooked. So where that's gonna go is gonna be really interesting. Like I said, we know Alien takes place after this in space, but throughout the Alien series, I mean, we never really went to Earth outside of Alien versus Predator, which again, not counting. So is this going to be the thing that leads to the demise of Earth and kind of pushes everyone in space? Because Alien Resurrection, we come back and it's just a wreck. I mean, there's not a bunch of species running around, so maybe something else happened, or maybe there's some explosion, some level of war, or maybe they just nuked it to just try to survive and it didn't work. But I don't really know what's gonna happen. But I think this second episode, seeing the xenomorph in action, you get your kills, you know what I'm saying? You get your tense scenes, you get to see the robots trying to kind of go at it. You get to see this synthetic Moro in action, and you get to see the hybrids kind of adapt and start to enter this world because it's kind of weird. I mean, these actors do a good job. Basically, they're playing kids in more of like an advanced body, almost like I can't think of the superhero, but you know what I'm talking about. Which one I'm talking about? They're not Captain Marvel. Good Lord, I can't remember his name. Anyway, I'll think of it. But it's kind of that where you have these kind of kids in these bodies, and one of the guys here, Timothy, I always screw his name, Olive Plant, who plays Kirsch. He's telling, I believe he's a. They don't really explain if he's the same as them. I don't think he's not a hybrid, so either he's going to be either synthetic or an advanced human. I think he's a synthetic, just the way his emotion and how he shows really no fear. But it made it seem like he was a little human when the show started. But he's basically like, hey guys, like you have nothing to fear. Like you can't really like they can't break you, and obviously we know these species probably can tear some of them apart. But he's like, hey, you don't have to fear. Like grow up. You got to grow up really here in a short. Good Lord, in a short span. So it's going to be fun to see where the series goes. I mean, I think this is a great start. Like I said, Romulus, I thought they just gave me what the movies had done before. People really like it, but it's kind of the same. I mean, Romulus didn't explore this world or build this world like this show is doing. I think Alien Earth is definitely in the right direction, and that's why it makes me super excited. I mean, I think these first two episodes are probably a price of admission, but my excitement level is like a home run. I'm like, what are they gonna do? Like, it's really getting me in here and involved. I think the tension's there, all the elements are there from the action, the horror, the tension, and kind of just the curiosity of this world. And I think that's kind of the best part here. So I think this is a high price of admission show early. I'm interested to see where it goes. I'm interested to see how Wendy's growth again. She's kind of our Ripley-ish character. Will she ever end up having some relation to Ripley? Don't know. I don't know. They somehow find a way to connect everything, or will she just be left on her own? Because she has her own family. It seems like so. We'll see what they do, but I'm interested to see what these specimens can do, how they're going to spread. I mean, I think we know by now that they do spread. I mean, the commercial kind of gave that away that they're out, and maybe these hybrids have to go track them down. I'm interested to see how the Whalen Utani company is going to kind of get in the game here because they have one synthetic in, but they're going to play some kind of role because they can't help but mess things up and kind of make this world a worse place because that's what they always do. And these other companies, 5 companies run the world. We know about 2 of them now, so I'm interested what the other 3 are doing in this race for immortality from the other companies and how they're contributing. So I think this is good, man. Again, price of admission, go watch it. Every week we're going to recap the episode. These are the first 2, so we'll be back next week with episode 3. I'm going to do an Easter egg video and kind of point out everything that's going on in this series, what we missed or what I missed, what some people may have missed, and what can relate to different movies and that we've seen already. So I'm interested to do that. But yeah, we're flying at J Man, Minor League Films here. Please hit that sub button. We got a poll going on. Make sure you answer the polls. We answer some interesting questions. We got videos coming out pretty much daily at this point or close to. So if you're looking for those, Minor League Films at everywhere except on TikTok, which is Kuronocomics. So make sure you tap in over there. But like I said, hit that like button. Hit that sub button. We'll be back to you soon. Can't wait to watch the next episode and see you next week. All that good stuff. We'll catch you next time.